I'm on the verge of falling asleep as Nimbus explains what our 5th mission entails once we enter the Zephyr Concourse.
So, Nimbus, want to fill us in on where we're headed?
There's this place where cloud striders go. A place to be alone, meditate, pray. If the old bird's theory holds up, should be a megasource of Strand there.
Let's hope it's larger than the ones you've seen thus far.
You can see them? Wait. Hang on, so you've got resurrection, sweet jumps, and the ability to witness thinning in the fabric of existence. Who do I gotta kill to get one of those ghosts?
Cloud Riders have a sacred meditation location on Neomuna, and Nimbus wants us to head there in hopes of us advancing our Strand abilities. This is where Osiris reveals that he is able to see these concentrations of energies in a manner similar, if not identical, to us. This means that Osiris is most likely also a Strand user. A cabal brigade obstructs the bridge and causes my first death. I rush them without much thought and they punish me appropriately. This early obstruction reminded me to slow things down just a bit and to not get too ahead of myself. On my return, I tossed the cold snuff nade directly onto the pack and then followed that up with a crystal from my bow. The cabal pack shattered into oblivion while refilling my grenade energy and clearing the path forward.
If Strand is another side of the darkness, how come we've never encountered these sources before?
The old bird thinks it's like a stink cloud the veil leaves behind.
I said it's a similar type of byproduct. To use a different analogy, if we are all part of this river of souls, how do we direct the river's current?
I said we are the river. You don't direct anything. You just flow.
Our ghost questions why we've never picked up on Strand before now, but I've long since realized that it's most likely due to the veil. Nimbus conveys Rohan's thoughts, which likens these concentrations to stink clouds left behind the veil. Osiris clarifies this, but also complicates this discovery even further by introducing a river of souls metaphor. All of us are riding along this river, but as of now, this current is undirectable. Nimbus says that we aren't on the river, but are the river itself. Osiris is mistaken when it comes to him wanting to exert his control over the river instead of just going along with wherever the river flows. I don't know why, but it seems like some dialogue was missing from the scene. All of these ideas seem drastically underdeveloped, with me only getting the vaguest of hints of how these ideas are even connected to each other. I understand what is trying to be conveyed, but these complex ideas need much more attention than just a few short quip-like sentences. This makes analyzing the substance of the discussion much harder than it really should be.
There, another Strand source.
Well, what are you waiting for? Let's begin.
The Vex are swarming.
Let's see how quickly you can dismantle them.
Regardless, the Vex presence in this area serve as some excellent training targets.
The Vex have blocked the path. Guess they want this Strand source for themselves.
Of course. The Vex could learn much from a power originating in linked consciousness.
Osiris figures that it's no surprise that the Vex would be drawn towards a target that originates from a concentrated Strand power source. As such, they have erected a barrier to block the path to the meditation location. Killing the Vex grants us calibration points, and depending on the rank of the enemy, the rarity of which increases respectively. After killing enough ads, a troop will eventually drop an energy cell which I need to grab and then deposit into the battery powering the barrier. After doing this 3 times, we break the barrier.
We may need a breather.
Now is the time to lean into using Strand, not back away from it. You can't effectively train if you don't push past your limits.
Just don't burn yourself out. This is only one battle. We've got a whole war to fight.
A war we cannot win without this power well in hand.
We come to a small ravine, and our new objective becomes to cross the chasm as we arrive at Maya's retreat.
Right, this part. Forgot you don't have a skyboard. Oh, but don't worry, you can still get to the place. Just have to find the way around.
Nimbus notes that we don't have a Sky Strider skyboard. However, the power of Strand should let us get across regardless. This particular section is a highlight of this level, as channeling your inner Spider-Man to the Strand grapple hook is a rather fun gameplay loop.
All that swinging around, that is really something.
Ah, yes. How could Callus possibly overcome your rope swing?
Nimbus is impressed at our abilities, but Osiris is right when he points out that all we're doing so far is swinging around. This does undercut the entire point of his training though. Eventually, we reach a Tangle tutorial cave. There are a couple of floating white crystals that can only be destroyed by Strand tangles, and those tangles are only able to be generated by us unraveling a target after afflicting them with a Strand ability. The factor holding us back is that there is an innate tangle cooldown of 12 seconds. None of the enemies are of any challenge. As I reached the end of the cave, I realized that this is in fact a location I have been to in the past. This time was my official introduction to this place though.
This is the place.
Whoa, this is... wow.
Good. Now the true training can begin.
I reached the large Strand concentration and looked within. This did not grant me with any new or special powers that I could not already access, which I feel like is a missed opportunity. In any case, my only goal here is to slaughter the encroaching Vex adds.
We're hitting a wall with Strand.
After effects are stacking up.
I don't understand. You've got more power, more practice. Hasn't this done anything to condition you?
Back in action.
Hit them again. Hold nothing back.
The game restricts our light as an Inquisitor mind ambushes us. This encounter brings back the mechanic from the cave. The initial amount of adds forces me to play defensively, and so I retreat until I can create a tingle. With this ball, I can then destroy the floating crystal. With the crystal down, the shield around the Minotaur falls, and so I can destroy it after getting behind some cover. This mechanic chain isn't done yet. The Minotaur powered the barrier around the Hydra, and it's only upon killing that Hydra that an energy cell drops. The final step requires us to then carry that energy cell to the middle of the arena and platform to the very top of the Vex construction. Once we reach the apex, we can deposit the energy cell into the battery and bring down the shield surrounding the Inquisitor mind. It is only after all of these steps that we can finally enter the damage phase. The first section of its health bar is the largest, and I almost die several times due to the Inquisitor mind's attacks doing splash damage to me behind cover. Thanks to the amount of ammo littering the floor, whittling down its HP just required me to play it slow. I finally entered the second phase thanks to the stasis crystal from my bow. I just needed to repeat all the steps from the first phase. Nothing out of the ordinary occurs during this second phase. I just want to point out that the targeting on the Strand tangles is terrible. I'm up close and I miss. I'm further away and I still miss. Like, bruh.
Get up, Guardian. Now is not the time to slow down.
I don't think you know what you're asking, Osiris.
Guardian, listen. Don't strain for the energy. Drop the effort and just let it flow through you.
I understand what the writers are going for with the whole go with the flow idea. It just doesn't really make any sense for this to be happening now in terms of the overarching narrative. The disconnect between the gameplay and the story is also at its worst here. The gameplay loop of Strand is not added onto nor expanded upon. Thus, we're just doing the same thing over and over again. which does not make us feel like we're improving our skills at any point. Regardless, I take down the Inquisitor mind with ease in this final phase.
Now that's how you send the Vex packing. Nicely done.
Yes, that was a challenging fight, but you pulled through. Still, we cannot afford any faltering when facing Callus. We should be able to wield Strand without strain. We're still missing something, but what? I must think. We can discuss this more later.
Nimbus calls our effort poggers, but Osiris still feels like we're missing something. A cutscene plays.
What is this attraction? Sagira, could you run some scans? Oh, right.
Am I interrupting?
Rohan, I've been pondering the Veil's paracausal effects on ghosts. I know I haven't been the easiest guest in your city.
Pain is not a hindrance. Simply reminds us we're still breathing. Still fighting. They're going to attempt to leap. We have to stop them.
Osiris still hasn't gotten past Sagira's death, which is shown to us as he tries to call for his ghost, but it fails to appear. This is where Rohan walks in. Osiris explains how he's been pondering the paracausal effects of the Veil before transitioning into apologizing for not being the most pleasant of guests. Rohan responds with some absolute cringe. Their talk is cut short, though. Callus' ship is dragging the radial mast across the city. Rohan realizes that they are attempting a link, and they race to stop him. It seems like Kaido's attack only delayed the ongoing assault. This cutscene only makes the previous two missions feel like complete filler, mainly because it feels like nothing was accomplished. Like, okay, we can use Strand slightly better now. Surely we could have spent our time better, right? We also didn't really develop or expand on any of the characters, so it was a complete fail on that front too. Our combat abilities are already among the best in the system. This short training session is fairly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. The result of us reaching the Cloudstrider's sacred meditation location should have granted us some absurd tide-changing power, or revealed a fact or something that resulted in a complete philosophical shift in how we approach the situation going forward, if this was the road the story wanted to go down. Like and subscribe, or Nimbus will accompany you in your dreams.